Today, we will have a look on the overview of the speaking module. Before we start, you should know that you have your listening, reading and writing examination on one day and your speaking examination is on another day for pen and paper based IELTS examination. And for computer delivered exam, you have listening, reading, writing and speaking on the same day. So, now let us start with the format of speaking. As you can see on your screen that your speaking exam takes 15 minutes to complete and it is an interview. And in this interview, the entire conversation is recorded for grading purpose. But most of the time, you are graded by the examiner as soon as your exam finishes. However, you get to see your scores 13 days after your examination. Now, let us start with the structure of speaking exam. It is divided in 3 parts. Part 1 is introduction or say interview, in which you will be asked some questions about yourself. For example, the questions like where do you come from, what are your hobbies and so on. Part 1 is simplest as you already know the answers. You just have to tell them things about yourself briefly. Here, the examiner has the script of the questions that he will ask in this part. Also, if you go off track here, examiner will not bring you back on the track. So make sure that you understand the question before you start answering it. Now, in part 2, that is cue card, you will be given a prompt and the questions related to the prompt. Here, examiner will give a card which will have questions and instructions written on it. After giving the cue card, the examiner will also give a pencil and a paper to you to prepare speech. In this part, you will be given 1 minute time to prepare a speech on given topic and that speech should also cover the answer of the given question. After the time of 1 minute, you have to speak whatever you have prepared. You can refer your prepared notes while you speak. Also, while you speak, you have to make sure that you cover each and every part of the question given in the cue card. Make sure that your speech is well connected overall and maintain eye contact with the examiner. And lastly, in part 3, you will be asked the general questions based on the cue card topic. It will be like a discussion, but in this discussion, you will be the one who talks more. And remember that examiner has no script of questions that he asks in this part. The questions will be based on your responses. In this part, if you go off topic, examiner will bring you back on the topic. And if you do not understand any question, you can ask the examiner to repeat or paraphrase the question, not more than 2 times. Moreover, the most important thing to note here is that your responses must be formal or semi-formal, as you lose the score for giving informal responses. Now, as we know the test structure, let us get more details of speaking module. Starting with part 1, it is between 4 to 5 minutes and here the students are asked the questions on the topics like home life or family life, work or study, interest and other familiar topics on a general nature to reveal their background. In the first part, the answers should be given in 2 to 3 sentences. That means short answers. But here, make sure that you do not use the exact same words from the question. For example, if you are asked that, do you think it is important to spend time with family? Then, instead of saying, yes, I think it is important to spend time with family, you should say that, certainly, it is crucial to spend time with family. Here, if you have observed, I just used the synonym of yes and important to increase my range of vocabulary and get higher score in lexical resource criterion. Also, if you are not aware of the assessment criteria, please refer our video on how speaking is assessed. Now let us move to part 2. It is between 3 to 4 minutes, in which preparation time of 1 minute is also included. For cue card, you are given exactly 1 minute to prepare yourself to give a speech about a particular topic. Instructions to guide your talk are given on the card and your examiner will also instruct you. Your talk should last for at least 1 to 2 minutes. Here you are suggested to speak till the examiner stops you. And don't worry if examiner stops you before 2 minutes. If he stops you before the time of 2 minutes, that means he has graded your cue card speech. Also, do not worry if he is not stopping you. That means that he still requires some information or say sentences to mark your speaking in cue card. Now, after you complete your speech, the examiner will ask 1 or 2 questions at the end based on whatever you have said in the cue card. And the answer to these questions should be of 2 to 3 sentences. This will be the last section of your part 2. And finally, in part 3, the questions are asked for 4 to 5 minutes. And here you have a discussion with the examiner based on themes connected to the topic given in part 2. This part of the test requires discussion of more abstract ideas. That means you have to give examples for whatever you say and support your points. You should give answer of 4 to 5 sentences. That means here you have to give long answers. Also, the questions asked in this section are general. So give general answers and do not give personal examples until you are asked for it. Always try to use linking words to help connecting your speech and give clear and general example. At last, the examiner will inform you that your speaking test has ended. So, by this, we come to the end of the speaking overview lecture. If you have any queries related to whatever is discussed so far, please write in the comment section below. We will respond at our earliest convenience. Thank you for joining with us. I will see you in the next class.